Guys, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about that NFC Championship game loss that the Packers had and the 65 and 56 connection and how it all ties into the coronavirus. Deep, heavy foreshadowing here. So the Packers versus the 49ers. I wrote this before the game, so this was January 13th. Was a lot of this decoding was done before the January 19th matchup. I documented that Jimmy G loses, he would be 22-6 all time, which equals 65. Jimmy itself equals 65 in gematria, so you just use the alphabet. The alphabet A equals 1, B equals 2, C equals 3. When you type out all the letters, it equals 65. These are a few different base ciphers if you're new, and they just illuminate different sides of the decoding process. So 65 in reverse ordinal and 65 in full reduction, 22-6 in Jimmy. So the 65 was a big theme, and you're going to see it as I continue to go on here. So if Rodgers wins, he would have been 6-5 had he won that NFC Championship game. So here's one thing I was looking at. Got Jimmy G's 22-6, so we can zoom in on that, and he would have been 22-6 right there. But obviously he did not lose. So because he did not lose, Aaron Rodgers went 5-6, as you can see over here. Obviously, being a Packers fan, I wanted Rodgers to go 6-5. Didn't happen. But there was so much 6-5 and 5-6 going on that I was right in there on that narrative. I just really wanted Rodgers to win, so it was very hard for me to see a narrative that wasn't going to go that way. Especially because there was things that lined up. Anyways, Rodgers could go 6-5 on the road, I wrote. Again, we're looking at a tweet January 18th, the day before the game. Rodgers could go 6-5 on the road in the postseason with a win. ESPN posted a stat about the 49ers that their pass defense since week 13 had posted 65% completion percentage. All right, you can see that right there. Completion percentage against the pass defense. They were really hammering home this 65 narrative. So they highlighted the 75. Just wondering what was up with that. I speculated that if Rodgers went to the Super Bowl and won, he could be 7-5 away in the postseason because the NFC teams were away. Apparently that didn't happen. Interestingly enough, at halftime, all right, of the NFC Championship game, the Packers were obviously getting their asses handed to them, and Rodgers went 5-6 on the road in that game, like 56. And at halftime, his stats was 65 yards. 9 for 12 for 65 yards. What are the fucking odds that this guy would only have 65 freaking yards at halftime? Are you kidding me? There are no odds that that was going to happen. None. It could have been 66. It could have been 68. No. It was 65 freaking yards. And that 48, Illuminati equals 48. If you remember the Titans, you would have seen that number 48 when Sunshine took him out. Anyways, I don't want to get sidetracked here. Let's stay on topic. Alright, so 6-5. You got this completion percentage. Now this is where it gets interesting, right? So when I was documenting before the game, let's click on this. More 65. The last time the Packers met the Niners was in the regular season that year, 2019, on 11/24. And from that game, okay, to Sunday's game, which was the NFC Championship game, was a span of 56 days. So they played each other again a span of 56 days later. 56 days, so you can see we played on the 24th, then we played again on the 19th, and that was a span of 56 days. Crazy. So it's 56 days we got going on there. Now you got the 65 and 56 narrative. I just basically posted so you could see Rodgers' away record after the loss, 5-6. So the coronavirus connections are pretty eerie because coronavirus equals 56. They played an NFC Championship game, obviously, like I just showed you. They played a span of 56 days after they had played each other. Alright, they played exactly 2 days before the first US case hit, which was on January 21st. Alright, from the game that they played, so they played on January 19th, to Wednesday, March 11th, which was the day that they declared the coronavirus a pandemic, was 1 month and 21 days. See, they declared it a pandemic on March 11th, 2020, so that's 3/11, like 113. We know about the Rogers and the 113. Coronavirus equals 56. During this coronavirus pandemic, they sold out a lot of toilet paper, which equals 56. This is from GeometryEffect.news. If you want to go check them out, Zach Hubbard, he does his own decodes all the time. Here he was just pointing out that there was a video where it was called Pandemic, and they had all these toilet paper stocked, and they were basically showing you they were going to have a pandemic and it was going to be a toilet paper issue. So toilet paper 56, coronavirus 56. Now they played, like we were saying, the NFC Championship game was played a span of 1 month and 21 days before it was declared a pandemic. Zach Hubbard again, you should go check out his work. April 30th is the 121st day of the year. You should know the 120 list by now. He goes on to list it. The first case in the US was January 21st, so January the first month, 21st, 121. The coronavirus channel on SiriusXM is channel 121. The coronavirus outbreak equals 121. World Health Organization equals 121. Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation 121. Johns Hopkins University 121. The big deal with those names is that they put on and predicted this pandemic would happen in October of 2019, so that's why that's a big deal. Now this is like the biggest thing. When I was looking at this, I remember that if you were following my work, and if you're new, on January 18th, the day before the game, I was watching ESPN for clues. And so on that day, ESPN, I said, was tipping off those who know how to listen. Because this guy right here says that in an essay from Green Bay native John Anderson is what we were looking for.
TJ Lang, the retired blocker who used to protect Aaron Rodgers at Green Bay. One time Aaron hit him in the face with a head of lettuce. Don't worry about that right now. I messaged TJ asking him to describe Aaron's demeanor before something like an NFC title game. Then I texted him the meaning of demeanor. But he knew. He said Aaron never gets too high or too low. And I said, give me something better. And he said Aaron would sit in his cubicle and watch people get hyped on their headphones. Give me something better. And he said Aaron would say, lineman, you block. Running backs, you run. Wide receivers, you catch. And I'll throw rockets. So take your fingers. That and an essay from Green Bay native John Anderson is what we were looking for. Is what we were looking for. Is what we were looking for.
So what he was looking for is John Anderson, the name. John Anderson equals 56. He was born in 1965. And before that, the ESPN announcer of this video, he goes on this whole spiel about, you know, tell us something else about Rodgers. Tell us something else about Rodgers. I documented that. I might throw it in here just so you can see it. His little spiel. Because he's like, oh, tell us something else. And then he goes, oh, John Anderson is what we were looking for. You know, an article by him is what we were looking for. It's like they were basically just wanting to tell you that, hey, listen, John Anderson equals 56. He's born in 65. The Packers were going to play the Niners a span of 56 days later after they had played them previously. Rodgers was going to go 5-6, although I said he could go 6-5. Truth is, he went 5-6. That was a tough one to read. Anderson's 54 years old, and then the upcoming Super Bowl is Super Bowl 54. So, I mean, what are the odds of all this stuff lining up, right? It's pretty crazy to have this many things line up. So as you can see, John Anderson, born in 1965, equals 56. Back out here, it equals 56. As you can see right there. ESPN was letting you know what was going on. Just to go over to Geometry Effect News real quick. Again, you can check them out. Coronavirus equals 56, as you can see. There's a lot of 74 involved with this coronavirus stuff. You want to go read it on Gematria Effect News. What I find interesting about that is both times the Niners played us, they scored 37 points, which is the 12th prime. But 37 plus 37, which they scored twice against us in that season, equals 74. We know about 74 and 47 with the Masons. Rodgers went 10 and 8, like 108, like the G stands for geometry, which equals 108. Like we just signed Devin Funchess, and there's 108 connections there. Check out those tweets I have on my Twitter. So yeah, coronavirus equals 56. Guess this Mike Pompeo guy is 56 years old. Something going on with him. Actually, I haven't really checked this part of the article out. But that just goes to show you just how much is going on with this 56 and 65. There's more about Bill and Melinda getting married 65 days after something. Zach Hubbard does a good job. You can find a lot of his videos. I don't want to reiterate stuff like that here. Sir equals 56. Coronavirus equals 56. Toilet paper, like we said, the 56. The mind control, 56. Obviously the media, the propaganda. But this was interesting, I thought. Queen Elizabeth's royal footman tested positive. And then you got royal footman equals 56 and coronavirus 56 and royal family equals 56 and corona means crown. And that connects in with the royals. See, there's a lot going on there. I would just wanted to connect those dots for you because you can start to see how a lot of the scripting going on here is far deeper than you realize. That things are much more heavily planned. The 65 in Switzerland, which is pretty interesting. I think that's where the World Health Organization, but that's where all the major planning, they're the neutral site where everything for the Illuminati gets planned. So 65 is an important number in the ongoing pandemic. Switzerland, the World Health Organization, World Economic Forum. Zach Hubbard points out here that it's a banker-led agenda. He's definitely right about that. And he says be sure to read up on the Knights Templar, which equals 65. Just pay attention to a lot of that. You know, just keep your eyes open because obviously John Anderson was tipping us off here. So, gotta pay attention. Lots going on. Lots been happening. And I'll try to keep you informed.